Welcome to the Black Men Think podcast. If this is your first time here, know that the views and opinions expressed by the Black Men Think podcast are those of the Black Men Think podcast and not the individual members. With that being said, we're about to be unapologetically, undeniably black. Enjoy.
So what's going on, people? Welcome to Black Man Think podcast. It looks a little bit different in here right now. As you can see, we got two new but old faces. Shout out to Mo and Torri. They may or may not be showing up later on tonight. But before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. If you want bonus content, make sure you go to Patreon, check us out. We got a lot of stuff going on over there, so I will be happy to have you there. But tonight we have, to my right, Ace Harris. To my left, Brian. I don't know, what do we call you?
B-Town.
B-Town. Okay.
B-Town, man.
Yeah, you got to pull that mic closer to you though. Yeah.
Oh.
But
What's up, man?
yeah, we here, bro. We here.
I ain't feeling in about a. I ain't feeling in about a year.
On the pod?
Dog, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. Yeah, it's
Like
been a
I
long
was,
time.
I think it's been like almost. I want to say 2 years. Lord forgive me.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So, but it's cool. Ain't no big deal.
Y'all
bro.
been keeping it going though. Thank y'all. Y'all been killing
Man,
it.
we've been trying to, bro. We've been trying to.
I feel like
Yeah.
Play it safe.
I know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because what we'll do if
sit
they
right
do
here.
come, or if you want to use that one over there, I just got to turn you on. Whichever one is clever. Just put that one all the way down so it'll be out of the camera shot. Yeah.
Like down here?
Yeah, you can do that. That's cool.
That boy got set up, dog.
Yeah, it'll put it there. So if they come, then they'll be able to get on the mic there. So, yeah, we here, man, and it's been a while, like you said, Ace. It's been a while since you've been on the pod, but we've been holding it down, bro. Like y'all, people start to see these faces, and then they start reconnecting. I'm like, hold on, like you're on the cover, you're on the cover, you're on the cover. So that's what you guys are seeing tonight. But yeah, man, we just been trying to progress. Like last week, we had a lot of talk about plans for the podcast and like what we want to do going forward, and the ideas and things of that nature. And one of those ideas was like, man, we got to get the brothers on the pod. So it was like, it just kind of happened that B in town and Ace was like, no, bro, let me pull up because I might not see B. If I don't pull up now, bro, I might not see B for like another 2 years. So it worked out. And we
Yeah.
all here. So I appreciate y'all coming through.
Sure.
So what do we want to talk about? How do we want to, pre-pod, we was just talking about
Yeah.
family life, kids in schools and
Private
all
schools.
yeah,
schools.
real decision making. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember when you didn't have those type of decisions to make, when it was just
Yeah.
regular?
I mean, I think one thing would be cool to kick off is like me and B were just talking about schools, and I ain't gonna lie, I was like, when you say you paying for private school, I was like, bro, you get into it because that's a lot of money. I mean, like, dang, because I feel like I want to put my kids in private. It's a weird feeling though. I ain't gonna lie, you got private school. Ain't gonna lie, it be so white. Generally speaking, I don't know. I'm assuming.
We got to get you situated.
Yeah, so I struggle with like I like, bro. I ain't gonna lie, it's like it's weird because I want to put my kids in a nice school. We're in a charter school now, which is fine, but I also want to like put them in a place where they can just kind of get some faithful values and be around other people. But I also want them to be around other like-minded people like us, and preferably be around black people.
Black people.
Or not. It ain't gotta be like 99.9%, but at least like 35,
But that's
40.
where it get tough.
So that's always my struggle. I do have friends too that are like, they're black, pro-black, making good money, yada yada yada, and they put their kids in like a predominantly white Christian private school, and I'd be like, I get that it's quote unquote the thing to do, but I wonder like, dang, what are you losing by doing that too? You know what I mean? Like what's the outcome of that? It's weird. Like that's a struggle.
It's a real struggle, bro. And I mean, when you say what do you lose with that, I'll put it like this, because I can only go off of my experiences, right? Like I didn't go to a HBCU. I went to just like y'all went to a college that was a good mix.
I would say it was like it wasn't an HBCU, but it was Georgia State is like a HBCU with
in the village.
It's black.
In the village.
In the village, yeah.
Right? But if you look at the demographics of the school as a whole,
it's
a melting pot, right?
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell if you were there on a Tuesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Even more now, too. So you got to give reference to what time frame you talk
about. Oh, yeah. We talk about.
You think it's more black now?
No, I'm saying it's even bigger of a melting pot.
So
you got to tell them what time frame you're talking about.
Yeah, well, we went to college in from 2002 to 2006 or 7 for the most part. So,
this ages, my dog.
Yeah.
All the Gen Z, even if we had Gen Z people,
no, bro. Our demo is us. We are talking to
40 and up.
Yeah, we talk to the 28 to 44. That's like,
right, gotcha.
That's what we had, grown folks for the most part, right? But I say that to say even my high school experience was very similar. Like I went to a high school that was in the middle of the hood, but we had black, white, Asian, Hispanic, like we had it all there because we were a fine arts magnet school.
Gotcha.
Right, so it was like you got a little bit of everything, right? Even though you were still like coming to the west side.
How do you feel like that school being like that shaped you? Like
at the time, I didn't pay it any attention.
Do you feel like it has do you have residue of being in that diverse?
1,000%.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, and the reason why I say this, right? Like my concentration there, because you had to pick something. I was in the fine arts program, but my area of study was mass media. So I was editing video at 14, 15 years old, not knowing any. I'm just like, oh, I'm here, I'm doing mass media. Not even really, it was a passion. I'm just like I was in there, but. Yeah, absolutely, bro. And being able to be in and go into any room, like I feel I can go into any room and talk to anybody. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like you're from Macon, Georgia. You Mactown. So is Corey. But
yeah.
Y'all went to the same school.
Went to the same school.
But I don't know, JD, you don't move like a Mactown person.
He's a Mactown person. No shade.
No offense. No shade.
Not too much on Mactown. Hold on. But I understand what you're saying. What you're saying. But I mean, a lot of that is upbringing, bro. A lot of that is it has to do with the family unit dynamic too. Oh, yeah. Like going places.
That's true.
And just like not even just like necessarily traveling, but like getting different experiences. And if you don't have that, I saw, you consume so much content, but I saw something, either it was a TikTok or a reel or something, but the guy said the best thing a parent can do for their child is update their zip code, right? Like that's it. Like so, it's like all this stuff that we can do. We can throw money at education. We can throw, you can try to be as strict in the household and have set these rules and regulations. But the best thing that you can really do for your child is upgrade your zip code, because your zip code is going to determine like not only their schooling, but it's going to determine like their friend groups. It's going to determine what their outside of your household looks like. Like when they walk down the street, are they seeing drugs, or are they seeing books and theater and you know what I mean? So
that's good.
I was like, wow, I've never, even though you in the back of your head that, but I didn't really process it that same way. Just thinking like, man, if you not at least attempting to do that, and the guy was saying something along the lines of, the dude he was talking to was like so dope early on in his life, made plenty of money, doing all kinds of things. It was like, bro, the only thing that you didn't do, you didn't upgrade like your lifestyle. Like you were spending 30,000-40,000 here and there, but you didn't update the zip code. Like you were in the hood the whole time doing this, and so it sound cool. But
I got a lot of thoughts about that, but I hear what you're saying.
And to be fair, it's like it's not necessarily saying move to a white neighborhood, but it's you know what I'm saying.
I know what
like
you mean. Put your kids in a position to see outside of the community that they're entrenched in, so they can see possible things that they probably wouldn't have seen if they stayed in the same place. I get
Absolutely.
it. There's a lot that could be said about if all the rappers that the aim for people in poverty, quote unquote, especially with hip hop culture, was I hear I'm gonna make it out the hood.
Make it out the hood.
I just wonder if the narrative could have been, how can we change the hood?
How can we improve the hood?
How can we, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus like, how can we get out now? How can we, hey, can y'all, can we make some 2-parent households? Can we focus on how to buy real estate? Can we, versus like, let's get out now. Let's on some like segregationist type.
Yeah.
That's, but hey, I got a question, Brian. What, we were talking earlier. You said, I asked, I was like, Dan, you got a middle schooler. And then you said, I don't want to drop names. I want to mention your kids' names, but your oldest daughter, you said that you guys are in like private. And I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, dang, Brian getting to the money out here. But tell me what made y'all, first of all, is this your first year in private school? Y'all on year 5, y'all out here.
First year.
Okay, what went into that decision?
Man, a lot. She's first having a girl, so I just different mindset. I think when having a girl, for me at least. And so my daughter is on the volleyball team. Well, she was during the volleyball season. She's on a team with girls who are 2-3 years older than her. So you can kind of see and just get feedback from the parents in the area.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, no, this school is cool. This school is cool. This school we had some issues, and so just kind of understanding, like based on lifestyle, what was the best bet. And it was just like put her in a private school.
Yeah.
And these are good schools too. It's good schools, but you got to think like they got cell phones now.
So your oldest daughter don't have a cell phone?
That's intentional.
Yeah, that's intentional.
Okay.
She has a phone. Well, I have. I got a ton of phones. So if she does, like even if she goes to a church event or something, and it's like a group, they're going somewhere, or a field trip she goes on, then we'll give her one of the phones to take.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I think that's dope.
Yeah, that's dope, bro.
So you what about those schools from other parents made you say, I don't think I'm gonna put my daughter in that. I want to try private.
It was really just the one was like some girls are catty fighting, just new experiences that I wasn't used to. So
Yeah.
for me and it was really selfishly to ease myself into her her teenage years. It was like, I bet it's best to protect her and kind of learn while we're learning on the fly. I need some kind of like framework around her.
That's good. So I have a question. What is the like demographic of the private school versus what it would have been if y'all stayed public racially? I just want to.
Well, it's the same, but I'm in California, so it's different.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still like we still like black minority probably, but it's a ton of everything.
Yeah.
But I know that's not the norm.
Because the reason why I'm not even grilling you. I'm actually, because me and Naja we were like, yo, when Luke and Jude get to middle school, we want to start saving up to do something. I know I just name drop. I don't care. My kids are already on social, so no big deal. We thought about, okay, how do we save up to consider private? Then I was like, I saw some of the schools that we liked. I'm like, them things taxing, boy.
Yeah, they're taxing.
Yeah.
Like and then I was like, so there is one school I like that's actually like 35% black. The principal's black, but it's a Christian school. It's a good school, but that one is, it's
It's up there.
oh, you talking about 19
Yeah.
a
So
year.
her school, the middle school principal is black too.
Okay. It's always like So I was thinking, I was like, one of the reasons why me and my wife moved from the neighborhood that we were in, which we were in like kind of like East Atlanta, Grant Park-esque. It was nice. We bought I feel like we were the poorest people in the neighborhood when we first bought the house. One of the reasons that we moved, we quote unquote needed more space. We wanted more space. And for real, I felt like the neighborhood, they were really nice people. Predominant. It was getting like, it was like white progressive energy. And I felt like Luke and Jude, if they would have stayed, and Luke, I noticed this too, in Luke's classroom, again, we in like the East, so it's APS, so you got like black people there. There was no other black kid in Luke's class. This is a kindergarten that had 2-parent households. There was only one other. No, there was none in this class.
Yeah,
it was probably like in the whole grade, probably like 2 or 3. Yeah. So there were black kids there. Most of them were like single mother. I ain't trying to like typecast. No, I felt like Luke and Jude, and Luke. I remember he mentioned he came home one day and said one of the black girls in the school, like Nate called him a name, was being mean to him. So he didn't really like. So he would gravitate towards the white kids because socially they were on cerebral level or developmental level that was comparable to him. So I was like, cool, that's good friends.
Yeah.
But I felt like down the road, my sons could have turned into the kind of black kids that I went to high school with. That isn't a bad thing, but I felt like they kind of lost. They could potentially lose their full self to embrace their culture.
I got you.
We made a conscious decision, like, nah, we out.
You got to do something different.
But here's the thing, this is a whole conversation piece. Is there a cluster of like-minded, preferably two-parent household, decent income black neighborhoods in Atlanta that you can cluster with, and schools that reflect that in a public school?
Well,
and
you're asking for a lot.
I don't think they exist.
If you want my opinion,
I don't think they exist.
I think right now it's the perfect scenario. You're in a neighborhood that is similar to what you're saying, even though you're only up and up. I mean, there's still that's Atlanta though. Like, you're gonna have the trenches around it.
For
you
sure.
can have the nice here, but there's gonna be sprinkle of, like, old Atlanta here.
Yeah.
But you're in a good position of being in a charter school that care about education.
Sure.
That to me is probably the best case scenario for now anyway. Like, once you're trying to go up into, because once you get into middle school or high school education, bro, it's slim pickings in Atlanta.
But why is that?
Well, I mean, what do we want? How deep we want to go?
Let's go.
It's like that everywhere. Too,
Yeah,
though.
It's America.
Yeah,
It's
not
America,
real
bro.
estate.
Like, I mean, you're dealing with the prime real estate is here now, right? Within the city. Forever, everybody wanted to be outside the city, and so we ran amok here. Like, this is us. Like, we was in the projects. We had the trenches. All of that stuff was just black. And then people started to look at, white people started to look and say, like, my kids are graduated high school. They're in college. I don't want to be all the way in Gwinnett. I don't want to be all the way. I want to walk on the belt line. So you come in and now
I want to go to Trader Joe's.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to go shop at Lululemon.
So now you come in the city. You take that land that was, and shout out to Cliff. Thank you. What's Cliff?
King. That's one King Cliff.
You know what I'm talking about on IG. I forgot his. He used to be around the hoop basketball team at Georgia State, light skin from Philly. You know who I'm talking about.
Okay, all right.
But he's heavy into real estate, right? And so he had a post either earlier today, a couple of days ago, where he was talking about how property taxes increase. So, like, you might have bought a property in 2016 where you're paying $1,000 in property taxes for the year. Every year it is like doubled and tripled, and so now you're paying $10,000 in property taxes. Well, your grandma on a fixed income, she can't afford.
Sometimes they have caps for certain people who are certain age and income. So they have lobbied that in.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that. I was unaware.
But it ain't. But you got to make a certain kind of income too. So for like the middle class person
that
bought that house and they still at that similar income, it's over with.
It's over with, bro. So like your mortgage is jumping up because you owe now. You got your lender is going to pay for it. Like, oh yeah, we'll fix that gap of $6-7 grand and put it in escrow, and now you got your mortgage jumped from $1,500 to $2,000 a month
easily.
And so now you're looking at, bro, where am I getting this $500 a month from?
Oh yeah.
Like, where is that coming from? Like, and not to mention, you got kids in school, you got daycare, you got all of these things happening, and you got to come up with an extra $500 a month, just like
that's crazy. So I mean, I'm curious. Like, am I tripping? Do y'all feel what I'm kind of getting at? Like, where? Okay, if Buckhead is a quote unquote, Buckhead is a super real. Let's walk it down a little bit. Let's go Vining. Let's go Dunwoody. Yeah. Which is like predominantly white, but there's still diversity there. Is there a cluster, forget even cities too strong, is there like a neighborhood, a zip code that's predominantly black, where the income is straight, you can send the kids to public school? Is there that? Because in Dunwoody you can do that. You ain't got to go to you can send them straight to the public.
You probably can do like Cascade area.
Not the public schools though.
I mean, you got Mays. No, honestly,
Mays got a 2 out of 10.
No, I'm sorry. You want to know? You want to know is where I'm at right now.
Yeah. What's the
Westlake.
Westlake? They got a 6.
Yeah, Westlake got
out
a
of 10,
6,
which
yeah.
is still. I'm saying that if that's our.
That's That's APS. Like you're not gonna any high school. There's no like what we got. Farrell, we got Doug. I'm saying, come on now.
I know.
What? This is the problem that I'm running into.
I'm gonna tell you why, because I had to deal with this a lot. Since my daughter's a little bit older, y'all. That's when I had to start realizing, like, oh, okay, some of these things are just true. Like, we're not the majority, so that's So then, how we gonna find the 13% of us? And then we have to. The 13% have to be perfect to make
The talented 10.
this dream
And the talented 10.
happen.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, it just.
Are you feel like I'm being too ambitious?
No, because I went through that. I don't think it's but it's not there though. I think it's twofold too. Because I think about like there's two types of people. I feel like some people can grow up and give back. Some people grow up and gotta get out, right? Because like so, I used to get mad at all the rappers moving to LA because I'm like, bro, y'all are making it bang bang shoot up here, but it's like, oh, back home was so much worse for them.
Yeah.
So I understand having to completely remove yourself because I did it. I'm from Decatur, come from divorced parents. I'm like, oh, okay, I understand their mindset of like why they need to like completely
Get out.
reset.
Sure.
So it's like some people, the only way to success is to leave. Some people
I feel you.
can grow, but that just means our whole 13% is divided, and then it's just not enough of us to even make it where, you know what I'm saying, it could be effective unless everybody gonna say, oh, okay, we're gonna move to Alpharetta with all these with all the bougie black people. Not saying
I feel you. I see. We need to all cluster together.
Because then it's personality types. Like, are you the bougie black person? Or are you to keep it real? You know what I'm saying?
Because Camp Creek is interesting. Like, I've been here for almost 2 years in College Park.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we know like everybody. Camp Creek was like the Mecca.
Yeah, at one point, yeah.
It's still kind of it's remnants there. But Camp Creek it's weird. Camp Creek is like developed shopping opportunities, all these things. But ain't gonna lie, right? You look under the hood of Camp Creek, bro. It's hood, dog.
No, it's the marketplace.
The marketplace.
It's the Camp Creek marketplace.
It's interesting,
but here's the thing, though, like, because I really looked into this, and the reason why it's like that. Number one, there's no shopping area nearby here, right? Like, so if I want to do some real deal shopping, right? If I want to go to Bath and Body Works, if I'm in this area, like if I'm on Camp Creek, I'm south of 20. Where can I go?
Either here or McDonough, bro.
Right? Because I'm not going to Greenbrier Mall.
Oh, nah. No offense.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm being honest. Like, right? Like, you're not going to Greenbrier Mall. So you're stuck at Camp Creek Marketplace. You're going to South Lake, which is nothing there virtually. So really, the only thing left is Cumberland Mall. And we're talking about 17 miles away.
Sure.
So where am I going? I'm feeding everything into here. So that's why your Publix starts to look like a Midtown Kroger. You know what I'm saying?
That's why they close at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
You know what I mean? But it's that those are the things that happen. Like your Target doesn't look like a Target supposed to look, like what you're used to a Target looking.
That Target actually ain't that bad. It's straight.
It ain't
the
that
LA,
bad.
The LA Fitness though.
Oh, I can't.
They be break-ins like every other day.
Yeah. But that's the reason why you get that, because you get
every other
everything.
day. Ask me, Corey be there all the time. We'd be like, I emailed the person who runs security. I did a whole spiel. Like, yo, what's going on? She was like, we working on it. We're short staffed. We're trying to. There've been so many complaints.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're onto something about the clustering. I guess in my utopian idealism, I want to cluster a certain type of like-minded black people, preferably two-parent household, preferably, working people. I ain't saying you ain't gotta have just work people who have employment or are business owners, and people who have some comparable values. We ain't gotta believe everything I believe, but can we just pit our kids together?
Yeah.
Your daughter marry my son. Can we create a little bit of without having to like surrender to quote unquote whiteness? And I feel like sometimes you kind of gotta. And I ain't gonna lie, we have to placate a little bit.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's tough. And I don't know if I got the solution. I'm just something I've noticed. I'm like, dang, Atlanta and like quote unquote the black Hollywood of the U.S. and a lot of like clusters.
Yeah.
Where it like translates with that kind of idealism.
Not to get everything that you're asking for. Like there's going to be 2 out of the 3, right? Like, so you're not going to get good neighborhood, good, like, so you're not going to get community, school, and like you got to pick
We just
two.
it just ain't we thought when we looked. I looked at the I looked at Westlake. I looked at May. I looked at all this. I looked at everything. I was like, hold on. I go by the neighborhood. I'm like, hold on, these houses. These folks got money.
Yeah.
Then I looked at the in the signpost in the yard. So and so Woodward Academy, Landmark Christian. Everybody. So y'all don't send y'all kids to the school that y'all pay taxes in.
They're doing what you doing. They're doing what I'm doing.
Facts.
Just in different capacity.
We're doing we all doing the same thing. It's
Yeah,
like
we're all doing the same thing.
I like the zip code, property value straight, but this school system
ain't it. It ain't it.
I don't want Luke and Jew go and make. I don't want him being friends with the kid whose mama got her kid listening to the Future.
No, I mean, bro, like,
bro.
we're laughing, but that's the reality, right? Like, okay, I'll give you an example of something that happened. So we don't really play the radio for our kids, right? Like, we'll put it on the Groove, so it's like old black classics.
Yeah.
Or it's on Kids Place Live because we got Sirius Satellite. So that's pretty much the two channels that's on when the kid's in the car. So today, had some trouble with the car. Catalytic converter went out, so I had to go and put the car in the shop. So we went and got a rental. That rental don't have Sirius Satellite, the account not on there. So we listened to the radio. The song Water come on. You know the song I talk about, right? Jay's at school, Noel's in the car.
Song's about
We know what the song's about.
Tyler's, yeah.
I kid you not.
10 seconds.
Bro, we were at the light on Old Fairburn right here. And I'm not that far from Old Fairburn in Camp Creek. By the time I got to the house, we got out the car. She's singing the song in the house. Just that quick.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's what she's doing the melody. And now, granted, like, she is gifted in music, but I've been learning, like, she picks up on stuff fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But, bruh,
Yeah.
10, like I said, really being realistic, probably a minute, right? But I'm like, bro, what's going on? So I can only imagine if she's around kids, that's all they listening to.
Every day,
all day, every day. And like, I'm trying to figure out, like, bro, why do we, what is coming from? It's like, it's coming from the peers.
No,
right?
It's crazy. It's crazy. And that song catchy too, though. I ain't
It
gonna
is.
lie.
It is. It's very catchy. Very
What's
catchy.
up, bro?
What's up, man?
Mo just walked in. Mo just walked in. We gonna get him on. You gonna have to pull that chair right there to the mic.
I ain't gonna lie. When Jew heard that song, I had to do the same thing. I was playing it low on my phone in the house and then he started singing that thing. I'm like, it's not a bad song. It's just, I don't want my kid.
See, and that's the hard part, because when the kid's older, I'm like, I go back and forth between which battle I'd rather fight, because it's like the kids who have everything, they can like be down the dark web in 10 seconds.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's true.
And then it's like,
That's true.
so it's like, am I fighting
Are you saying you struggle with
who to put it with? Because for me, I at least know this life, like this stuff.
what you mean? Which life would you say
Like
you?
the future, I can unpack that and be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we don't really do this.
Yeah.
Hey man, this is
I could talk against that. This whole like, the 14-year-old got a VPN and it's to the. I'm like, what?
Man.
He's walking around and he got a better phone than me, and all that type of stuff is like
I feel it.
a whole different world.
I don't even understand. Bro, I could be on Twitter casually. Scroll, it's porn on Twitter.
Legit. Yeah. It's-
Like, I can't open up. I
sure,
legit
for sure.
cannot open up Twitter around anybody that I care about.
Yeah.
Like, because it's gonna look like you're doing something. Like, I'm like, fam, I'm opening up Twitter and I'm scrolling through, and then the first, it's like, well, who are you following? And it's like, fam, it ain't even about nobody who I'm following at this point. It's just there.
It's just there.
It's just there, and I'm like, bro, how do you prevent that from kids seeing that, bro? Because like
You can't.
you can't. So if I'm seeing it, they looking for it. They got a homeboy or homegirl at school that already don't put them on what to do and what not to do. So they already down. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you gotta at some point,
Yeah.
you gotta update the zip code. You gotta figure out what you gotta
Figure
do.
out the cluster.
You gotta figure it
we
out.
We was talking about just to bring you up to speed. Brian was sharing how his daughter, he put her in a private school, and like the wrestle of being a parent, you want your kids to be in schools that reflect the values, even like a Christian school or a school that has, but you also, I was saying, dang, what you could lose culturally. I aspire in my brain to pit my kids around other black families, preferably 2-parent households, like-minded values, all these things. And then we were just kind of talking about how like you ain't gonna be able to get everything you want in Atlanta.
Right.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, man, like me and my wife, we fought this battle, I would say endlessly for like 4 years straight. Trying to get in the right school zone, trying to move into a certain area where we feel like our value of the home matches the value of what's in the community, right? From store options to like where's the Whole Foods at? Like can I go get somewhere and get some non-processed meat, without necessarily walking in the Kroger and saying like, oh yeah, we don't sell that here, and then just to find the school zone where schools are equitable in the sense of my children are going to have the same amount of options that kids in Alpharetta are going to have. I'm sorry, we missed the wave in terms of figuring out the code because we tried over and over and over. And I tell you, I kid you not, Ace, like I bring this up periodically, something that you've always said. We've turned out okay. Like we were in these schools in 2-star, 3-star, 4-star school zones. And stuff like that.
The Cula was South Gwinnett. Cula back then was 8. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I'll give you that. However,
we was.
So I'm the only example. Hey, because where were you?
Never mind.
None of y'all went to
the Gwinnett of the 90s and 2000 era. The Cula of 1999.
But let me push back because even in 10th grade, I remember Grayson opening up and me thinking like, I ain't leaving my friends. I'm not leaving this school, not realizing like we're giving you an opportunity, bro. Like you have a chance to get out of the community that's disintegrating before your very eyes. Even though I didn't see that as a 16-year-old,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they just opened up the new high school that was going to be the better school zone. It still is to this day. And South Gwinnett, the hood now,
That's crazy, bro.
So it's just the patterns, bro, from the point of seeing the minimal things as a teenager, but now being an adult and trying to navigate things for your kids. At a certain point, you almost like start giving up. Like
it's tough.
I'm just gonna try to raise them the best that I can, and we're gonna let the chips fall where they may.
So devil's advocate. My cousin Randolph, his wife Brandy, and she went to Doug High School. Doug wasn't what it was. It's not what it is now. What it was then. So Doug was 15 years ago was better, but it was still Doug.
Yeah, it was still Doug.
And so she lives in Bankhead, right off of Collier Heights. Like, been there all her life, and I kind of like did a little interrogation her a couple years ago. I was like, "What did you see growing up?" She's like, "Honestly, I realized some of my friends that were at the school, they used to tell me crazy stories after we graduated. Like, yo, so and so got shot. This person was getting molested. This person was selling drugs." She was like, "Honestly, I didn't see any of that because like in my house,
it wasn't.
It was like
tight,
tight,
yeah, straight up."
So I think the household preserved a lot of that too.
Yeah,
but still, maybe God's grace too. But they was in the West. I mean, you go. I mean, Collier Heights. It was just, it's all around there.
Yeah,
all around there. But
I mean, the household is always gonna be a key factor, but it's also like involvement in your kid's life too,
That's
right?
Real. That's
because
real.
you can have all the structure you want, but if you don't have an idea of what your kid is doing, like, I mean, granted, when your kid leaves and go to school, it's up to them at that point, right?
Yeah.
But you have to, it's something that you put in your kids, bro. Like, I just know, like, I grew up in apartments, and then I was a good kid in a bad apartment complex, right? The only thing at the time...
Does that exist?
It exists. Yeah. It exists. But to be honest with you, I didn't know it was bad as a kid, right? Like, I knew things were happening, but I didn't know how bad my neighborhood was as a kid. You know what I mean? So I would hear about things like the biggest thing that happened when I was in that neighborhood was that my mom it was this lady who my mom, I think she was either selling Avon or something, but she was at our house. And I just remember somebody knocking on our door and saying, D just got shot. Right? Like, I remember that as a kid. D is her son. Right? So, like, she's at but D was also, at that time, I probably had to be, like, somewhere between 8 and 9. And D was, like, maybe 15, 16. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't an adult, but he wasn't, somewhere between 15 and maybe 18, somewhere in that space. But I just remember that, you know what I mean? And so outside of that, bro, it was just like any other neighborhood in my eyes as a kid. Yeah. But you also, you know, you don't. I do remember like my parents saying like, "Yo, we got to like save up to get up out of here." You know what I'm saying? But like, you ain't think. I'm just like, I remember when we got the house, I was like, I didn't want to move. I was like, bro, well, all my friends, you know, it's just things as a kid that, and you realize like all the decisions that your parent make, it shapes who you are. Like I never went into the school. I only went to the school in my district for like kindergarten, first, second, and third grade. After that, I can tell my parents shifted. So my elementary school, I went to a magnet school. Going to that school changed everything because that put me on the path of like, oh no, mom, listen, I want to go to the feeder, that middle school that I would go to after that elementary school. And it just so happened like, even though those schools were in a different neighborhood, they were in the hood, it was just like education was a focal point in all of those schools. And so it put me on a better path than some of my counterparts who went other places. You know what I'm saying?
Basically, your dad upgraded your zip code.
He did. I mean, that's exactly what happened. Like, I moved into a neighborhood where, like, I don't have any recollection of friends from my neighborhood. Oh, I don't.
Friends were at the school.
All my friends were at school. So once I left school, I was at home.
Yeah.
Right? If I wanted to visit a friend, I only had like one or two friends whose houses that I would visit, but they lived everywhere. Like, that's the beauty of a magnet school. Like, they stayed in other places. They didn't stay on my street. My neighborhood was like mostly older people on my street. So I didn't, like, I don't remember any friends in my neighborhood. Like, as a kid, like, I'm just saying, I don't remember.
Complete opposite. Like, I had the complete opposite. And especially being an only child, like, that was my way to thrive anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had to connect to every single child in the neighborhood. So I was never home, you know, during the day at least. But I mean, even to your point, like, thinking about, because we weigh private school too. You know, and it's like you get your pros and your cons. Because, I mean, you hear a lot of things about private school. You know, granted, probably the best resource. I'm talking about like private school. I'm not talking about like, you know, some charter school down the street. You know, I'm talking about like one of the top tier private schools. It seems like you're paying a college tuition. Yeah. You know, for any one of your children. Granted, if you got more than one, you might as well. You better be
you got to be balling.
You got to be balling. You got to be balling. You know, so granted, they got the facilities. They got, you know, all the access to certain types of athletics. They have, you know, STEM is a regular thing from elementary as opposed to like, man, can I get my kids in a summer camp? You know, trying to find a spot in the neighborhood. It's like, no, this is foreign languages, dual immersion classes. You know, all that stuff is available, ready for you. However, you go to a private school, you also have kids that have access to more things because parents may or may not be as involved. You know, there may be kids who are on drugs and so on and forth. And you get that in any school. And so it's like, I think sometimes our perspective, our lens, we tend to see things in a way that might not be as honest as it is. Because you're going to get the same thing in every school. Yeah. In some kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, bro, it starts at home. And I mean, for me, I can notice the difference between the school that my kids are at now. Well, my kid is at now versus the school she was at last year. Like last year, and she had a good teacher, right? But it's like with any school, if you got a room of 20 kids, you're probably going to have about 5 that are really ready for whatever comes their way. You're going to have 5 that are just like completely, they got troubled homes. What if some going on at home because they get at school, they just show out. Then everybody else is pretty much in the middle, right? But in that scenario, it feels like the kids get left behind because they can only focus on 5.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you can only focus on 5, everybody else is like, if your kid is at maybe in the middle, they're getting no love.
You're getting left out.
They're getting left behind. And so the flip side of that, where she's at now, I feel like everybody is on point.
Yeah, and we had our kids at the same school.
Yeah,
so
same school.
It's been an adjustment. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
My second son was like, man, it's too much. It's too many classes. It's too long.
Yeah, too much reading.
Too much reading. But he's killing it. He's like killing. He's excelling.
Yeah.
But the other school teacher made a comment. I was like, they was like, yeah, he's the smartest kid in the class. I was like, I ain't saying much. My kid he's straight. Yeah, man. But I mean, I feel like, look, man, in a perfect world, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Even though some of my like friends in my church, some of my Christian friends, you know, they all do homeschool. All of my like super like quote unquote religious devout, they do homeschool. They was like, I don't fool with public. I can't afford private. And even if I did, I don't even know if I would like it. We gonna school right up here.
School home.
I ain't. Najee, she ain't that type,
bro.
And I ain't that type neither.
More and more, I'm valuing growing our kids up around our culture. Like it's a non-negotiable at this point because you know, at this point our culture gets lost in so many other ways. So I'm like, they're gonna get it from home, they're gonna get it from their mom and their dad, but they need to get it from the community and the kids that they're around. I don't mind diversity, but I don't want to be the minority.
Yeah.
You know, in every situation. I would like my kids to grow up in a setting where
For sure.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
it's an
I want
experience.
I want your parents to be like, all right, I like that kid because I know his mom and his dad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel, but you know, that's how we was raised.
Yeah.
We couldn't just spend a night at anybody's house. It was always cousins or church people. I never spent a night at anybody from my school's house. Never ever.
Only once, and that's when I got introduced to porn. To your point.
I was saying I never.
To your point.
Kids be on some.
Yeah, kids. Man, look, bro. I can remember.
That's straight up.
That's
Real
crazy.
story.
Hey, Marlon, look who we.
Real talk, bro. Like mom
Y'all
was
was
in the
definitely on
other
magazine.
room.
Y'all wasn't on
Bro,
videos.
my man he was just running them, bro. Like all night. That's all we and the homies are watching. This was like 3rd grade, bro.
That's crazy.
3rd grade. The first time I spent the night at a friend from school.
Did you tell your parents?
Hell no.
Did they ever find out?
No, I don't think I ever went back on that. But like it's like to this day,
it's in your brain.
that's the point.
Planted
where
the seed, didn't it?
That's the seed, bro.
That's the seed.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The kids be on.
Bro.
I don't try. Oh yeah. Go ahead. I need this guy here.
Oh yeah, Torri just pulled up, bro.
Everybody had to pull up.
Yeah, look. So just to speak on it, right? Because we've been talking about all kind of stuff, but I do want to go back into what we were saying. Last conversation we had, we was talking about like, bro, we have some ideas of what we want to do. One of those ideas was like we want to get the brothers on there. So I just want to go on the record and say we just got to keep speaking things into existence because we had a whole conversation about how we wanted to do some different things and like we've already moved into that direction. So, you know, that's just for Torri and Marlon because I know we talked about this and like, you know, we're headed to where we need to go. So, but yeah, we've talking about, bro, sacrificing for our kids and trying to also like, are our expectations too high? Or like, what else do we have to do in order to put our kids in the best position, right? Because all of us come from public school.
Yeah.
Like, we all went to public school. None of us went to a charter school. Now y'all had some.
I had a private school.
It might have been.
Not at the time.
Not at the time.
You was yet at Decatur zip code. You went to Dunwoody High School.
That's what I'm saying.
How'd that happen?
My dad, same thing. He was like DeKalb County, sending him across the highway, bro.
The intent behind that is what I'm getting at. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh no, my dad was big on education. He went to Morehouse, so it was like
he didn't want you going to the school. What school were you zoned for?
it was. I don't even remember because I
Southwest DeKalb.
No, I don't even remember.
Reading.
I was going since elementary school. So I went to.
You was always done with you, like.
I went to Peachtree Middle School. I went to
They were on it.
Yeah.
Kingsley Elementary. I've been done with it.
Oh
like,
yeah, they were on it.
They knew. Off top.
Now my sister, she went to McNair Middle for like a day, and she didn't come home with her homework. And my dad went up
That's
to the
funny,
school,
dog. You
bro,
said she
and
come
made
home
them
with no
transfer.
homework. I said, nah, this
Get
ain't gonna
her
work.
out of
No,
here.
she came home one day without homework, and Pops was like,
He
"Nah."
made them transfer.
Kind of think about it though, I don't think I ever gave my parents enough credit actually, because I mean I grew up south side of Atlanta, College Park, Flat Shoals, Banneker district.
Yeah.
And I never touched any one of those public schools. Now that I think about it, and I never actually.
The reason why we here because our parents.
Our parents made a
They
sacrifice.
knew what it was.
My mom was a teacher. I knew the superintendent. I knew everybody. So
Yeah.
the superintendent's wife was my teacher in a few of my classes. So I really didn't have that more of an issue. And then also I was at a smaller school system than the rest of y'all.
Yeah.
I probably was at the smallest one.
Yeah.
What? West Lawrence.
Lawrence County.
Lawrence County.
Well, maybe closer to Macon, but
Yeah.
still.
But how many high schools Lawrence County? There's 2.
No, we had three.
What? West, East Lawrence,
West,
and then
East, Trinity, and the alternative school.
okay. No, I thought Dublin. Dublin, don't y'all have?
Oh, and Dublin.
So yeah, y'all got 4.
I just found this out. We moved to Gwinnett in 1987. before when it was like a 1-lane road, like before Mall of Georgia for everything. So I was talking to my mom the other day, about my dad and what the city. So we was in Decatur I was in Tucker, Georgia when I was like 2 or 3 years old, and my mom was pregnant with my sisters, triplets, and so they needed to buy a house. My dad had just got this nice engineering job. It was kind of in Gwinnett anyway, so they was looking at Gwinnett, and there was no black people, no Africans. It was 1987 in Beaufort. And so my mom was saying that my dad had looked at a house on South off of Candler Road, nice house, 5-bedroom, had the space.
Life would
and
be
then my mom
different.
told me, she was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
She said it too many black Americans.
No. Let's talk. No,
Bro.
we got to talk about this though.
And so she would really lobby for him to go further north. Everybody, all the Liberian friends in Metro Atlanta at the time were like, yo, what are y'all doing? There's nobody. It's so far. And so we ended up, I was the only black kid in my class till like 5th grade. So
Oh wow,
so like we moved out there. So the decisions our parents made,
absolutely.
I wouldn't even be the same.
Look, man.
Like
Nah, you wouldn't, because a lot of I lived off Keller Road, and a lot of the thugs are African, bro. Like if you really look at, I'm like, no. But
I know Boo and Akon was out there on the
bro,
east side.
and when you really look
Put
at
a
it,
disclaimer out there before Brian jumped
I
on
was about
the
to
show
say,
today.
I mean, hey,
We did.
African
The
bro.
disclaimer come at the beginning of the episode.
this ain't even
I'm
Patreon
just
yet.
saying,
This ain't even Patreon.
if you dig deep, then you be like, oh, hey, bro, wait a second. When
Yeah.
they come out on Sunday and they go into church and the African, you be like, oh, but it's just
Bro,
most of
nah.
them thugs like when I was
Controversial
growing
topic, dog. Like white people don't want to live near us, but we the ones always saying the same thing. Like we be like, man, too many of us around here, bro. We got to keep moving.
My mom was like,
what is that?
my mom
bro?
moved. My mom's she's Africans move different. African immigrants, their blackness is nuanced. They have this like, it's like they don't associate or themselves with Black Americans, like
Why is that?
because they feel like y'all ain't got. They feel like, I ain't gonna lie. And a lot of conversations I've heard between cousins, aunties, we were told don't mix with them like that, or be careful because they don't respect the values of Black Americans.
Do you feel
that.
like is
you
there-
were different?
Is there no real question though? Like, is there a loss? Do you feel like there's a loss of culture, like a threat to lose culture? Is it a like we raise you a certain way and this is not the American way type of thing?
They feel like it would be influential to the culture, and it would
Almost like
not poison, but like influence it to the wrong end.
diluted.
Yeah. So there's this weird undercurrent. My dad's like MLK. He's all about inclusive. He's not on that for
Yeah.
it. But a lot of aunties that I know are like, do American cheering there. Be careful with them Black Americans. Like it was like a thing.
Yeah.
So like
Nah,
the fact
Yeah, I got
the fact
you.
that we even chose that house was based on my mom advocating for being a little apprehensive for us being raised around predominantly Black American households. Whatever that perception is true or wherever it came from, she was like, nah.
Well, the thing about it is education is very intentional. Like as far as when you're talking about the quality of it, because let's be clear, your zip code determines your outcome. Right?
Yeah, that's
And
exactly.
so that's
I literally just said that.
That's really how education flows as well. And so when you look at that, you know, especially if you want better for your kids than what you have, you look at those things. So okay, what zip code can I afford to move to that can give them the better opportunity?
Yeah.
So it really makes sense. So it's really that generational thing where, you know, you're supposed to be trying to do better than what you had, right? And so if you're trying to do better than what you had, you do look at things like education is one of the biggest ways to lift people out, right? Okay, so what sets them up for the best? Put them in the schools that has the best academic success, have more opportunities to expose them to different things like study abroad or whatever the case might be. You know, so it makes sense. You know, our parents did it. We're trying to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that ties back to your questions, like the sacrifice, though.
It's a real sacrifice.
What does
man.
that look like, though?
It's it's a real sacrifice, bro. But also, and this we were talking about this prior to you getting here, but it's a struggle to do that, but also do it around our people, right? Like trying to find some type of balance to where it's not like we don't want to move to Alpharetta, right? Like I don't want to.
If we're being honest, no, we don't.
We don't, right?
We don't.
Like we don't, and it's.
y'all sure I seen the pictures. I ain't been there yet, but I saw the pictures.
So, but here's what I want to say, because I get what you're saying, but then when you start looking a little bit deeper, because it's not just about education, it's the amenities that go with it.
Yeah.
Like, we're here in Atlanta, so the further north you go, you get better parks, you get better
Absolutely.
Grocery
X, Y, and
stores
Z,
and-
better
Absolutely.
grocery store. So you don't want to, but then you look at it, and I actually was gonna say what Brian said, but in a more tactful way. He was like, "Why not?" I've seen it. You like, but when you actually think about the accoutrements that come along with it,
I mean, it's there.
you then was like, okay, I get a lot more for my dollar up here. I might get less like land and things of that nature, but when you talk about access to other things,
absolutely.
it does. That's where you do start having to make those decisions.
I had a question for y'all. This gave me an idea. So why we all know each other through Mike is killing me. Through college. Why'd y'all pick Georgia State? We all
That's the only college I
were.
applied to.
I mean, we all were really good high school. We could have went. Why Georgia State? I have my reasons. I want to hear just.
My reason is very simple, right? I knew that it was only two colleges that I was thinking about. Like I wanted either Georgia State or it was going to be out of state, right? And I was just like, man, I can't afford out of state, right? Like I come from a household, didn't nobody save up money for college. I had to figure out how to pay for college myself, right? So I knew it was going to be in state. I didn't want to do like UGA or anything like that because I really wanted to be in Atlanta. So for me,
Why do you want to be in Atlanta?
I mean, it was everything. It's just familiarity. Like I wanted to be in a bigger city. I didn't want to be in a small city. I didn't want to be in a college town. I knew I wanted to be in a city, right? And so for me, the only reason why I chose Georgia State is because of the living situation.
Yes.
And right, I take it back. It was like I got really big into marketing my senior year of high school. And so only thing that I heard about like with Georgia State was the J. Mac Robinson College of Business was one of the top tier schools. So I was like, I went on the tour with the school. I was like, bro, this is my situation. This will be my living situation. Like I got my own apartment. My own room. I don't have to share rooms with people. I was like, this is cool. I like this. And the bonus was, it said the school of business is one of the top school of businesses in the nation. Yeah, let's go to Georgia
Was there
State.
any racial, cultural elements that influenced your decision?
I
at
didn't.
all?
I didn't even
You didn't even think
factor
about
that
it?
in.
Okay.
Because I'm coming from a high school to where like I see everything.
Okay.
I just knew I needed to be in Atlanta.
Okay.
So it was either here or
I guess
Georgia
kinda-
Tech,
that's
and I'm
kinda
like,
understood.
I don't wanna- Tech kind of, and so I applied for Georgia State.
What
and
about you, Brian?
My girlfriend was going to Georgia State. I
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It was high school 2.0, so
yeah,
I didn't even do no tour though.
Did you apply anywhere else?
Yeah, I got into Auburn and like one other school, but I ain't do no tour at Georgia State or nothing.
My former roommate.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Y'all know how I am. Again, it's one of those two-parent households. Just thinking about myself, like, my decisions were just kind of off the cuff, but being in the right school environment, it's like, oh, this is what we doing. Everybody going to school.
Other people going to Georgia State from your school.
They were going to college.
okay. They were just going to college. Yeah,
Yeah. And my parents were like, well, you can't stay here. You got to go to school too. I was like, oh, all right. Yeah.
Georgia State it is.
What about you, Mo?
Bro, I had a few reasons, like legit reasons. One, I'm a city boy at heart, and like for me, any college set in the middle of the city, like that was just like that just matches my speed, it matches my pace.
Right.
One of the things that like made it solid was we had at the time, I obviously wanted to study music, wanted to study music business, but I also was in chorus, and like that was my instrument, my voice. And so the conductor from the university singers came to our high school. So two of our professors, I guess not a term used in high school, our chorus teachers were from Georgia State.
Okay.
So they spoke highly of his program, and then he finally came, he conducted us. I went to All-State, he was my conductor. So I was kind of like, yo, he's dope. Like if I got to do an instrument, like I like to study under him. So he sold Georgia State to us. My high school chorus instructors had two of them. They sold Georgia State to us. And then, bro, when I saw them dorms, it was a no-brainer.
Was there any racial, cultural influences that influenced your decision?
None whatsoever.
Interesting. So, Torri, what about you?
Microphone.
Oh, sorry.
I think I'm probably similar to JD. When I got into senior year, I knew I wanted to go into like a business type education. And at that time, when I looked, Georgia State, especially in Georgia, was like ranked, I think 5 at the time.
Yeah, it was top 10 for sure.
Definitely top 10. I want to say it was even top 5. And so, just wanted to be in that business arena, I looked at there. I also looked at UGA. I think Howard was on my list as well, and one other school was on my list. But kind of like JD, once I actually went on the tour and I saw that living situation, I knew.
It was nothing to be said.
But how did y'all get a tour? Like,
It's called sign up.
You show
Sign
up.
up. Like you came on tour, they took you to the housing first.
Man, bro, you live here though,
Yeah.
right? Like for us, we are coming from an hour and a half away. We like, bro, hold on, I need to know where I'm going.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
But see, I had heard about it. Like I knew before I ever saw it, like what the dorms were like, and I had this vivid picture. Like I went to Middle Tennessee, I think it was, for like a basketball camp. And I remember staying in those dorms.
Yeah.
I said, bro, I do not want to live like this when I get to college, where it's like the traditional, everybody share a restroom. I got to go down the hallway to take a shower, all this. I was like, I do not want that. So when I found out like Georgia State had apartment style dorms, it's downtown, and actually take part of my answer back. When you said UGA, you made me think about something. Because everybody from my high school went to UGA, bro. Went to one of these SEC schools, and I went to a white high school for most of the years that I was there. Like it started shifting towards the tail end of it, but I still knew it as to be a white high school. And I didn't want to go to like high school college.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I'm not doing this with y'all. Like, I'm getting back to the South Side for one. I'm from the South Side. I'm getting back to the A. That had a lot to do with it. So I take it back. I didn't think about it hard enough. It was racially motivated.
Because I'm glad you said that, Mo, because that's kind of what I was trying to unpack with y'all. I was just curious, and back to the conversation about decisions our parents made about zip code decisions, all these little micro influences that determine why we do what we do. And similarly to you, I went to a predominantly white high school. I mean, it was probably like, at a class of 400, probably like 30 black people, maybe 20. It was small. Most people that were going to college in my senior year were going to UGA. So I applied to 3 schools and got in all 3: UGA, Georgia State, and Morehouse. Morehouse, I was like, too expensive. One of the main drivers of me going to Georgia State was all the black people that were like, even when I was a freshman, some of the seniors that were like cool and they was going to college, they was going to Georgia State. So Georgia State I chose because I wanted to be around black people and go to school in Atlanta. and that's kind of what, because I went to a predominantly white high school. I was like, I want to be around some black people.
And that
really that influenced why I even picked the school.
That's funny that you say that, because like that wasn't my experience, because I was around black people. Like my high school in the middle of the hood, even though we had white, black, everything there, I was still around black people. So I didn't feel, I mean, I knew Georgia State had a nice mix, but in my mind, I didn't even think anything of it. I didn't say like, oh, I got to go to a black school because I need to be around black people. Like I didn't, but that dorm situation,
Bruh.
because my introduction was, no, bro, because like I did like, I was at Claflin in South Carolina for like a summer program. It's, what are they call, Upward Bound. And bro, those dorms, I was like, nah, fam, I ain't doing this.
I'm saying.
I was like, this right here ain't it. I was like, it was cool, a cool experience, but I was like, bro, this ain't it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't enjoy this. Gotta use my shower shoes to
exactly.
walk down the hall.
Exactly.
Like, bro,
I was like, no, thank you,
I'm
bro.
cool on that.
That's interesting because I came from a predominantly white high school as well, but race was never an issue. Where I'm from, most people went to Georgia Southern, just because that was a closer school, or and then if they were black, they went to Savannah State.
Oh yeah,
so it's a little bit different. I just didn't want to go there, and my thing was, I don't know if you said it, that if I was staying in Georgia, it was only Atlanta.
Yeah,
I wasn't,
yeah,
because I did go to UGA. I did like UGA from a college town perspective, but at the same time, I was like, I come from a small town. That's really what UGA is.
Yeah,
It's a small town with a college.
Right.
And so I was like, if it was only really Atlanta for me, and Macon was too close because I did look at Mercer. But I was like, and my sister went to Mercer, so I was like, that's not where I want to go. So it really was only, if I was staying in Georgia, it was Atlanta.
It was Atlanta, yeah.
So that's kind of how
Atlanta had a big, was a big factor.
Yep.
Because I agree with that, bro. It's just like I'm not going to Southern. Right, like Savannah sounded like a good idea, but I didn't care about going. I had no aspirations to go to a HBCU at all.
Me neither.
I was about that.
Probably just because I wasn't introduced to it. Like you're talking about, it's first generation over here. Like my mom went to junior college, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Like everybody, me and my cousins, because we're in the same grade. Like we are the first ones to go to college.
Well, me, it was the world is not black or white. So I didn't want to go to a all just black school. I wanted to go to a school that encompassed it. But when I looked a little bit deeper into Georgia State, after I had made the decision, I was like, oh, that actually is a good decision because it had diversity.
Yeah.
So I was intentional because I knew the world was not just black. I wanted to make sure that I exposed myself and put myself in the right situations.
Yeah. So interesting. I didn't even really process it in the way of like the world is not black or white. What I did see about at least, our AUC in Atlanta was just like, it doesn't appear to be equitable. Like, why would I spend 5, 6, 7 times more money
To go across the street.
Literally,
Where
where the
across the street.
facilities, where the buildings, where even the football, granted, obviously at the time we didn't have football field, but my point is, it don't look like this look
It
over
don't
here
at all.
And Hope got me here
For free.
so for free. And that's like, I feel like low key, like, and this is no HBCU slander in no way, shape, or form. At least it's not intentionally. But why is it that our HBCU properties don't appear to have the same, like them things should look like Georgia Tech campus, bro.
It should.
They should.
Well, I just say we shouldn't hold all HBCUs equal.
No facts. 'Cause I haven't seen them all. So let me
AUC
speak on the ones I have
The
seen.
AUC.
That's
key.
in Jesse
AUC.
Jackson pocket right there.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to a few others in the South.
Yeah,
you know.
Bethune-Cookman ain't too.
Yes. Neither is FAMU.
I would say,
No, FAMU straight. Yeah.
Not
That was terrible, yeah.
Not when I went. Not when I went back
like,
in the day.
FAMU
Howard is very.
No,
is
Actually,
nice.
Howard. Yeah, I've heard
So
about
it's
Howard.
not like you can't hold all of them.
No, this is the real conversation.
It's tough to compare because it's kind of like you're getting state funded. Like it's just apples to oranges. But I
facts.
feel you. I turned down Morehouse for the same reason. I was like, bro, why am I spend
That's so much
20,000?
into the conversation.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can't expect people to go there because these are adults who run these facilities. Like you can't expect. Man, most of these people who work at these schools, their kids don't go there. So why am I
Oh,
go
that's
there?
facts. That's
So
facts. That's facts.
here's the
That's fact.
truth of the
That's
matter
all true.
too. We're speaking from a perspective of guys that chose Georgia State. So I would be very interested to see what.
No, my dad went to Morehouse. It was terrible then.
Okay, well, see,
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
No, I'm talking about facilities.
Oh yeah,
Facilities.
facilities.
Yeah. Facilities
so
was the
like
same.
this
Yeah, I
is
ain't
not.
gonna lie.
I'm not in any way
Because
speaking to.
Clark just had a flooding or something when during that big rainstorm, and I mean it's complicated. I just felt like it's like
I'm
the
not saying
donor base.
Morehouse is terrible.
Right, correct. Like this is not
No.
the culture of the school.
Yeah,
This is
not
not
the
the
culture of
pride
the
that
school.
goes
The
into
actual
HBCU.
facilities.
This is literally
It's given 1950s.
facts. Oh no, and that's and I'm
my
here for
dad,
it.
this is why I didn't go to Morehouse. With my dad,
Shout out HBCUs, man. Shout out Deion Sanders, man.
no. Because look, my sister went to HBCU. She went to Jackson State.
Okay.
And I was nervous for her. And
Which one?
Jackson State. She went
She
to
went
Jackson
Jackson
State.
State.
I was
Oh,
nervous
that's,
for her in Mississippi.
In Jackson,
My
Mississippi.
cousin
It's
went
a
to
real
Morehouse.
conversation,
My
bro.
dad went to Morehouse, and when my dad took me to Morehouse during homecoming, he said, "Oh yeah, I stayed here." I'm like, "Hey, but you 40 years older than me though. Like it ain't supposed to. It ain't. The hotels get remodeled at least every 10 years. So in my head, I'm just like, nah, I'm not going there.
All right, look. So this is a good stopping point right here to go to Patreon
We gotta
because
pivot that one.
That was
obviously we are happy to be in the room with each other. This has been the first time that all 5 of us been in the same room in a long time, and we about to deep dive. And so if y'all want,
timestamp, JD.
yeah, if y'all want to hear us really go deep on this right here, y'all got to go to Patreon. Sorry,
Been on the West Coast too long.
yeah.
My bad.
No, Brian is perfect.
Nah, this is always
No,
good.
this is perfect. No, we
No,
not. We still rolling.
this thing rolls.
Yeah, hold on. We're going to close it out. But look, make sure y'all go to Patreon right now. We're going to finish this conversation on that side. And it's
love
a
our
conversation that,
HBCUs.
yeah, we love our HBCUs.
I love
Yeah.
it. Shout out to
Jesse
Howard.
Jackson, you mean?
Love Howard. Oh my gosh.
All right. How we close? We elevate our black man because black man be out there thinking. We'll see y'all next week. Go to Patreon now.
The Black Men Think Podcast.